So in the past, we started traveling in about 2007. In the past, we would just book a flight, book a hotel for 2 or 3 nights, get a Lonely Planet book for the country we were arriving at. Hotels are in here, where to go, where the bus stations are, where the train stations are, where to get beer, restaurants. Whole bunch of information in here, maps, everything's great. Nowadays we've got phones that we can get that information, but back then we got our information from the travel books. So we were the type of travel that would just wing it. We would just get there and decide when we got there how long we were going to stay, and then we'd scout out a bus station and get on the bus that the locals use. Most of the time it was 6 hours. We'd choose something. We'd look at the board and go, oh, what's 6 hours away? Let's go there first. But this time, it's 2023. Our first trip was 2007, and we've been traveling ever since. This trip at 2023, Floyd doesn't want to go. And I know why. Because he's busy. He's a fastball umpire, and he's been so busy. He's been umpiring. He is umpiring so much that I'm sure that he just wants to just lay back and relax for the rest of the winter. So I am going by myself, and the bucket list was Vietnam. And my bucket list was, I always wanted to do like Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. I thought I'd do that all in 1 year. But after going to Thailand 2 years ago and spending 3 months there, I've realized now that it's just so much nicer to spend a lot of time in the country, really get to know it, and then relax. Then you don't have to go sightseeing every day. It's just a way more relaxing vacation if it's longer. So Vietnam was on the list this year. So I went looking at the flights, and the flight from Edmonton to Hanoi, because I'm going to start at the top and then work my way down south, because it's warmer down there. As I go down to closer to the winter, I'm going to head farther south. So the flight was stopping in Tokyo, and the flight was stopping in Taiwan. So when I checked the flight price, and the price was much the same as if I changed the dates and just added a week in Tokyo and a week in Taiwan, and the price wasn't much different. It was much the same. So, hey, let's try this out. So I have 6 nights in Tokyo and 6 nights in Hanoi, and then flying to 6 nights in Tokyo and 6 nights in Taipei, and then I'm going to Hanoi. Flying into Hanoi. Well, when I sent my information into the Vietnamese embassy in Canada, he phones me and he says, how long do you want to stay in Vietnam? And I go, oh, about 2.5 months or so. And he says, well, I can only give you a 30-day visa. And I go, oh, well, how should we handle this? And he says, well, I can give you 3 30-day visas. And I go, yeah, that sounds good. I'm okay with that. And he says, but that means you have to leave Vietnam and come back again. And I said, yeah, no problem. I can do that. I'm thinking in my head, just scoot over to Laos with a bus and then come back. Well, that didn't quite work out that way. So get the visa, and then I'm researching after. Like I said, I like to wing things. So I'm researching after and realizing that, holy mackerel, the bus from Hanoi to Laos, and I'm talking about the capital of Laos, not necessarily the border, because at the border, you don't even know if there's a town there. Sometimes there's nothing there. So it's 22 hours. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't like buses that much that I want to be on them for 22 hours, and then 22 hours one way and then 22 hours back is like, no, that's like not fun. So, when I was doing the search, you can search if you're in Google or wherever you are, and you can go Edmonton, or let's say I could go Edmonton, Europe, and it'll bring up Europe, and it'll have prices for a bunch of destinations: London, Paris, Vienna, and it does the same for Southeast Asia. So I did Hanoi. I did a search from Hanoi to Southeast Asia, and it popped up with Manila and Bangkok and all the ones in that area, and it would give you a little blue price on each one of them. And as I'm looking, I'm going, Manila's pretty good. It's like it was about, I don't know, 180 return from Hanoi to fly to Manila for $180. And then for $120 there was Bangkok, Hanoi to Bangkok return. But I don't want to go back to Thailand. I mean, I'd love to go. I like Thailand, but I don't really want to go back to where I was. Plus, I have to go get visas and stuff, and it sounds like too much hassle. So then I did a little bit of search and thought, oh, look at that. Kuala Lumpur is like $155 or $165 from Hanoi to Kuala Lumpur and back. So I booked a flight, and then of course I paid for my luggage already, and now luggage is getting all these cheap flights. The luggage is expensive, so we're looking like at around $200. So that's cool. And so I am going to be so that I have to leave Vietnam by November 15th, because when we were doing the visa, he says, well, what day are you arriving in Vietnam? And I said, well, I'm arriving there on October 30th after I've been to Tokyo and Taipei. And he goes, oh, so you want one from October 30th to December 30th? And I went, whoa, no. I can't have a December 30th. There's no way I want to be traveling a day before New Year's and trying to find a hotel and trying to get transportation, and it's like a madhouse. I said, no, I don't think we're going to do that. But Floyd's picking me up. I'm flying from Ho Chi Minh or Saigon to LA in middle of January, so to LA. So Floyd will come from Yuma to pick me up in the middle of January. So then we kind of went backwards and said, okay, let's do this November 15th to December 15th to January 15th. For the visas, even though I don't even arrive in Hanoi till October 30th, but we couldn't let them fall. I couldn't let it fall around the New Year's, because that's not going to work. So anyway, so I'm in Hanoi for only 2 weeks, and I got to leave again. And then so middle of November, I'm flying to Kuala Lumpur. And then I'm flying back to Hanoi, and then I'll take a bus or a train, probably a train, and work my way south, make a couple stops, and look to see what's happening, and then make my way down to Ho Chi Minh and Saigon. And then December 15th is going to come around the corner. So then I'm looking for another destination, because I've got to leave Vietnam, and I'm thinking that maybe I could take a bus to Cambodia, and I probably could have. But then when I started doing the search, I noticed that there's maybe a couple other places that maybe I could try. I'm already have to leave. So I noticed that Bali was a destination that a lot of people talk about. So I booked a flight from Ho Chi Minh to Bali in the middle of December for 7 days, and much the same. It came out to about, I think it came out to about a little bit more. It came out to about 300, but that includes luggage going there and back. So it was in the lower 200s, but then I booked a seat, and I booked my luggage. So I'll be going to Bali in middle of December, and then middle of January I'll be leaving to LA, and Floyd will pick me up. And gee, just the thought of all of this is making me tired, because I'm not that kind of person that likes to book so much in advance. But I am traveling by myself. I'm going to some locations that, like, Tokyo is big. I should really try to figure something out before I get there. Plus, I have the time this summer to do that as well. So when I'm booking the hotels, I'm like picking in the central area near subway trains and near night markets. I love night markets because then I can go have my supper there and eat there. So I want to be close enough. But by subway stations is really important, and in the central areas. So I've got all my hotels booked and stuff too. And I already bought my cash. I'm taking a little bit of cash, maybe like $200, $200 to $300 for each country, just so that when I arrive, I can pay. I have a little bit of cash of their currency. Generally, we don't buy much currency here for a different country, because we're discovering that it's cheaper to buy it when you arrive at your destination if you're going to get larger amounts. And we no longer go to the bank there either. We were in a bank in, God, where were we? I think it was somewhere in South America. We went to the bank. It was Brazil. We went to the bank and we got some Brazil money, and then we found out the guys on the street were like way better rate, like way better than the bank in that country that we were in. So we don't do that anymore. People say, "Oh, well, I'd be afraid to buy from the street," but that seems to be the norm, is from buying from the street or buying from the little places. So I am leaving, and I'm excited, but a little bit leery. But and because I'm traveling by myself, I'm spending a lot of time trying to figure out really things to make me feel safe. Like the hotel has to be in an area where if I'm walking around, if I come home at 7 o'clock in the evening, there better be a lot of people around. I don't want a hotel that at 7 o'clock at night it's like dead and I'm the only person walking. I want to be in an area where there's lots of people. When I was in Thailand, there was the hotel I was at, there was just always lots of people there, and I could come home at 9 o'clock. And I didn't do that very often, but the longer I stayed, the more I got used to the area, and so sometimes the later I would be. But definitely doing that, and picking areas that are near subway stations or train stations. So I'll keep you posted. I'm getting ready to go, and I'm getting excited. So it's Alberta, Tokyo, Taipei, Hanoi, Kuala Lumpur, Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh, Saigon, Bali, Indonesia, and LA. And I'm excited.